my name is Maya Eaglin. I'm a digital reporter with NBC News, and you can watch me on Stay Tuned, NBC's digital Snapchat show. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about doing a digital profile for celebrities, anyone going viral on the internet, or just someone in your community. Obviously, there are so many interesting people to interview, so where do you even start? For me, I kind of have two buckets of pitches. The first one would be booking or someone from NBC reaching out to me and presenting a guest that could work for Stay Tuned. And the second, which is really unique to Stay Tuned, is the viewers sometimes will DM me messages or send me Snapchat saying, hey, I have a really cool story in my community, would love for you to profile it. Before someone can even be on your show, you're gonna need a pitch document. In your pitch document, you're gonna wanna have the social media tags of this person, a brief description of what the story is. You're gonna have why this is relevant and why it would work for your program. When you're putting together your research doc, there are a few places you can look for some stories. And I think Gen Z and millennials, we're pretty good at this already. You just gotta do a little snooping around. The first thing I go to is Google. I will type in the person's name and click the news tab and see if anything has come out in the recent weeks or days regarding my interview subject. I'll then head over to social media. I'll check out their Twitter, see if they have a website. Sometimes on Instagram stories, people have featured stories that you can click into and see where else their interviews have been in. Once I have my pitch document ready, I will do a pre-interview, and that is simply just a 5-minute phone call with whoever I'm interviewing. Sometimes things can look really good on paper and kind of end up not fleshing out exactly the way you pictured it. So this is kind of just a buffer period where you can make sure what you're telling your supervisor, what you're telling your producer is what they're gonna get. And it also allows the interview subject to be more comfortable with you as a person and realizing that, it's no big deal. So research doc, pre-interview, and that's gonna give you a really good foundation for the actual interview, which we're gonna get to next. So now it is the day of the interview, the most exciting day in my personal opinion. I love getting to meet some of our viewers and obviously some of our celebrities like SZA and Mia Dennis and all these really, really great people who have had these iconic cultural moments. What I first do for those interview days is obviously set up my little home studio. I have my ring light, I have a tripod with my phone, and I have my laptop. Then what I'll do is go through our research doc, and that actually also has questions on it that me and my producer have worked on. So I'll call my producer 10 or 15 minutes before the actual start of the call, and we'll kind of just verbally go through the questions and see if anything organically pops up that maybe we forgot to add, or maybe it was just a good idea that can come up in conversation. This also allows me some time to relax, take a breath, and get kind of comfortable with what we're going into, because for some interviews you have a very specific allotted amount of time. For Bretman Rock, we had 15 minutes, no wiggle room. And you want to make sure that even if you have 20 questions, a trick you can do is highlight the most important, let's say 5 or 6 that have to be asked. What does it mean to bring added representation on TV? Being queer, being Southeast Asian?
I feel like everyone always says I didn't really see anyone like me.
And when you're listening to these interviews, you also want to be actively listening. If something isn't on your question doc, but is a good point and you think might be compelling or news for you to share, lean into those moments and don't be afraid to go off the path, because who knows, that might be the best part of your interview. I'm a Taurus.
I can see that.
I would like you to read me for that. What are your thoughts on Taurus?
Only a Taurus would want to be read.
Another great thing about Stay Tuned is we're not live, and that can take a lot of pressure off of both the interview subject and the interviewer. So if you mess up, if I fumble, I've fumbled several times in the past and I still do, it's still a learning process. Take a breath, say, let me try that one more time. And often you doing that will invite your interviewee to also do the same. So maybe they're having a hard time forming an idea together. If you take a beat and say, I'm gonna establish the culture that starting over is okay, you might even get a better answer than you originally had from your subject. And that's a really great pro tip. So the interview is wrapped. The first thing that I do is upload the audio to a transcription service. I know when I was in J school, we typed everything by hand, but at NBC, we actually have this online service where the transcription is done for you. They're about 90-95% accurate. So I'll go through, clean it up, make sure that all the words are correct, and then highlight my favorite parts. You're gonna wanna think of what's most compelling, what's most relevant, what is gonna be the best new information, because this is the business of news, and then things that have an emotional tie work really, really well. After that, everything gets sent to the editor. They get the videos, they get any photos that I pulled, they get the graphics that I made, and they will put the piece together. And we kind of go back and forth with that editing process a few times to make sure we have the perfect. Stay tuned. My biggest piece of advice would be learn as much as you can. Even if you're very certain that you want to be a producer, expose yourself to the tasks and the skill sets of a reporter, and vice versa. Of course, you want to make sure your craft is top notch, but be sure that you're always learning, and those skill sets are what's going to set you apart from a candidate that's kind of okay to someone who is excellent and someone who is stellar. I'm Maya Eaglin. I'm a digital reporter with NBC News, and this has been an awesome session with NBCU Academy. I hope you learned something, and I'm so excited for your journey. So go out and make some amazing journalism.